Chat, what is good? What is good with everybody? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. Throw those A's in the chat if you can hear your boy speak right now. Please go ahead and throw those A's in the chat if you can hear me speak. Family, has it been a bloody day for some of these tickers or what? My goodness. Let's get this party rolling. Let's make sure to get those A's in the chat right now, you guys. Where are you, chat? Where are you? Very excited to be streaming once again, you guys. Super excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Let's make sure to have some good times, get our stuff prepped for tomorrow's sessions, and then continue on the analysis, right? You guys, please remember, please remember that tomorrow is CPI day. Oh my goodness, man. Tomorrow we are to expect a huge amount of volatility, okay? Tomorrow is going to be dangerous, okay? So please consider staying cash, okay? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you based on what I've seen in the past, right? I'm just telling you as a friend. I'm telling you as an entertainer to consider watching your longs tomorrow because it's going to get dangerous. It's going to get silly, chilly tomorrow, okay? You guys, please watch your longs, all right? So if we come in, okay, just know this. If we come in at a 6.4 CPI or higher, a 6.4%, we are CPI. we're definitely gonna capitulate. Okay, so if we come in less than 6.4, then there could be a chance for an upside. Okay, but please remember as well that these broader markets are now playing games with us. Okay, not everything is up or down based on positive or negative information. Okay, but tomorrow is a critical day. Okay, tomorrow is very, very important for us to kind of just keep an eye on. Okay, so please, I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern time that the CPI will be released. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll get that information in. Okay, you guys. So moderator Cal actually ended up asking me the other day, what are you looking at? You know, what's it looking like in the broader markets, Arca? Do you really think this is the end? And we were over here, and I told him, no, man, no. I mean, I definitely see like there's a huge amount of turmoil in the markets, right? Of course, the Silicon Valley Bank going under like that, and then there's huge rumors, you know, going around that Elon Musk may purges, and then there's also the potential Fed bailout, which is something that could be very good, honestly. And just go ahead and notice here that I told him, no, on the NDX, we're at support. So very likely we can face a bounce soon. Check it out what we did. We faced that bounce right where we were talking about, right? So very interesting times here. And we still got that bounce, by the way, we still got it right before the EMA 20 and the EMA 50 touched. Okay, so indicating that we're still within a a more or less bull cycle starting. Okay, just don't take that, okay? Because the numbers that we're looking at now, futures, the way even yields, the way that they're plummeting right now, those are recessionary kind of signals, okay? So the thing is that we did get a silver cross here of the EMA 20 above the EMA 50, and that's traditionally or historically a pretty bullish signal for the broader markets itself, okay? So very interesting that we still got that huge bump to the upside in the NDX, okay? So just know that if we do get anything at 6.4 or above, we're gonna capitulate, okay? It's a very dangerous time. All right, you guys. So, and if we do get something below that 6.4, then we'll be good. Vic Boss, ticker symbol VS, looks like it's going to be the last one we're going to cover today. We're going to try to get through these tickers as fast as humanly possible so that we can make sure to cover all the requests, okay? Let's see. Yeah, let me just go ahead and note it on my notes right over here. But what's up, chat? What are we doing? Are you guys long any tickers? I mean, you guys know that I'm already long that freaking TENX ticker, TENX. So I'm barely, I think I'm barely a percent up right now, or 1 or 2%. I'm lingering at the very bottom line right now. Very interesting times there. So Mark Roach saying CPI is going to be 8:30 a.m. But man, thank you so much for all your help, moderators. Thank you for being here and assisting. Samantha H, what is up, dude? Mark Roach, I did send you a Discord message, Mark Roach. Please go ahead and reply to me whenever you can. Okay, so I do have a. But I see the image of what you have on your profile. Okay, so that could be a very good indication into knowing what some of your interests are. But please reply to the email or the message that I sent, and in Discord. So moderators, please also go ahead and send me an email at the arcmasterscourse@gmail.com so that I can make sure to keep everybody that's going to be inside of the master's course aligned. Okay, so please reply whenever you can. Okay, so Sebastian Lim in at 10x, 63 cents, bro. That is good news, man. So let's go ahead and just refer to the chat over here. Let's see what they're saying. So what is up, Safe Pop Culture? Thank you for stopping by. Good vibes. What is up? Basil Amy, always good to see you here. Daniel M, what is up, my dude? Guys, I'm sorry. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm actually running on the craziest schedule today. Of course, I'm running behind, right? So I already posted a few videos, okay? So in particular, let's see, I posted COSM just now, and I actually am focusing on a pretty detailed video on that, okay? I'm focusing on a lot of information that I need you to see, and it's almost a 12-minute video, okay? I know it's a little bit on the longer side. I'm sorry, but please go ahead and refer to that. I posted it about 30 minutes ago, okay? I also posted a dedicated video for the ticker symbol 10x, as I do see a continuation to the upside even still, and I'm literally at break even right now, so very interesting times. And also GTII, okay? So just full transparency, my average I think is about 67.02 or 67 cents. Ticker symbol 10x, okay? But I definitely still see some upside moving, okay? So yeah, let me go ahead and continue saying what's up to the chat over here. And let's see, Nick Larson, I love you too, man. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate you hanging out here with the family and I. And we should be checking out some pretty good tickers today. So definitely stay tuned. What's up, Nick? Good to see you here. Patrick L, what is up, my dude? Basil Amy, always good to see you. Alex, what is up for sure, man? Always coming through with the good information. Thanks, man. Really appreciate you. And Sebastian Lim, what is up, my dude? So I remember you were asking me something about a ticker symbol EPAZ. So I still have that in line here for you, okay, as if we didn't cover it the other day. And if any of you have seen Joe H, if he's still not here, I definitely have to check out a ticker for him too, and it's actually the Silicon Valley Bank ticker, SIVB, right? So man, if you guys are just curious to see what that looks like, take a look at this. Damn, oh my goodness. Talk about, I mean, where was this? $265 to $34.22. Damn, somebody made some serious cash if you had been playing puts on this or shorting this stock. Oh my goodness gracious, man! I'm actually curious to see what that gainer was. So let's see. No way. 86.81% to the downside. Of course, this is no joke, you guys, and in fact, I do feel for the people holding SIVB, right? I'm terribly felt for this. This is really crappy, right? But still, this is just an enormous capitulation, and it looks like it may still continue. I'm not even sure, you guys, but there are a lot of even crypto assets within that are with, that are clients of SIVB. So dark times there, guys. Very, very dark times there. Cha-Cha, what is up, my dude? Good to see you here in the chat. Daniel Gonzalez, what's up, man? So Sebastian Lim, remember, bro, we're gonna take a look at that ticker, okay? What's up, MM? Good to see you here. Beta Bot, what is up? You're asking for Bitcoin, man. I can try to maybe include that into the broader markets, because I do think that there is some pertinent information to kind of look at there, right? Because the upside move that we got was very much in respects to actually, I was watching Crown Crypto, right, and he was talking about the Gaussian channel in the BTC asset, and it happened to bounce right from that area, and we got a huge bounce to the upside. So I'm not exactly. Let me look at the all-time history BTC to see what it's got, because this is it's very interesting right now what's happening with BTC. This bottom side target is what I'm talking about, right? So 19,005, I was speaking right around here about a 19,008, right? So before an upside, the last time we looked at BTC, but in fact, it actually went a little under than what I thought, and then it bounced to the upside. So the resistances that we're looking for right now are very curious, okay? So this is absolutely something that we should keep an eye on. If you are long BTC right now, I do expect a continuation to the upside, upwards of about 25,031 to about 25,214. Very interesting times right here, as my mother is giving me a call on my phone. Of course, you guys know that I cannot answer that right now. So right, I don't think she got the notification that I'm going live, right? So we're gonna have to just call mom back later. So yeah, you guys, so again, what I'm saying here is that we do have a very, very important area of resistance, and if I can be as clear as I can be, price action right now on spot price action, but please remember that this is the Bitcoin against the US dollar, and this is the index, okay? So this is the all-time history of BTC itself, as sometimes I don't tend to rely on spot price action as much as I do as the index and CME, the futures. BTC. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you this area of resistance right now, and this is something to kind of look out for. Okay, so right into this zone here is what we have to look out for. 24,900 to about 25,421 is gonna be a critical area of resistance here, okay, you guys? But the upside is still very much relevant, and it's still in the cards. Please notice here that volatility versus momentum on the 8-hour chart is still suggesting an upside continuation here, and we're barely entering critical volatility, which means sorry about that, which means that the 6-hour and 4-hour are potentially already critically overexpanded and probably way oversold, so overbought, sorry. So let's go ahead and just dim down this these time frames and go to the 6 hours. So there you go. 6 hours still suggesting upside, critically expanded. 4 hours should be exactly the same thing, right? Perfectly set. So now let's go to the upper term time frames and see what it's got. So 12-hour time frame, very interesting, as it's now, it just entered within the last 12 hours. It entered the critical volatility zone, which is within about the 90 percentile. Okay, and please go ahead and notice here that we're right at the junction of the we're right at the junction of the bull strength percentile, still suggesting upside. So the daily and bi-daily are very likely to still be bullish. Yeah, you guys, definitely so. We have the opportunity to close this resistance here. If we're able to close this and close a candle minimum 8-hour above $25,400, then we could start talking about the targets of 26,000 and above. Okay, so that's gonna be in respects to, I'm just gonna zoom out for you a little bit here and show you. Any day now we can get this thing to load, it'd be great. Okay. All right, so here we go. So $26,000, it should be landing right at the resistances right over here. Okay, so you're looking at about 26,100 to about 25,879. Okay, so that's going to be the next area of resistance, or the next area of chop zone. Okay, so what I'm saying right now is that we're at critical inflection points. Okay, so if we can't break this section here, remember the 25,400, if we are not able to break that, then definitely know that we may capitulate, and this thing actually can come back to around the areas of about 19,800 to about $21,300. Okay, so it's very important that we do break out of that. Okay, so now given that CPI is tomorrow, if we do get a negative read, the NDX may actually sell off, and it would actually realize the true nature of this ascending channel. Okay, so that's a very dangerous thing all on its own. Okay, so if this thing actually starts to capitulate based on a negative read from the CPI data, then NDX may actually recouple the BTC asset. Okay, so if it does recouple it, then BTC may face pressures to the downside, because this is going to be a macro downside, right? So that's going to be kind of an implication to look at, right? So BTC could be affected by CPI as well. Okay, so BTC apparently is finding strength from the capitulation of the SIVB, which is very interesting right now, because there could be assets that are liquidating their positions from SIVB and longing BTC. Okay, because they do have clients in crypto as well. Okay, so now regarding the SPY actually faced a bounce right from the zone that we were talking about as well. I don't know if you remember this, but when we were talking SPY, we were talking about the broadening descending wedge. We extended the line even more. We said that we would very likely find a bounce from this area on, right? So I do like what's happening, although we do have a little bit of an indication of weakness here. Please notice that this is a 12-hour bearish engulfing on the 12-hour chart. Of course, I'm sorry, being a little redundant here, right? So it is critical for this next for the next 12-hour candle or daily candle to close above the area about 387.69, so that we can confirm a continuation to that upside. If we don't get that, then definitely we could come back to the zone of about $380 or sub 380. Okay, you guys, so it's looking a little dangerous right now. I'm not gonna lie. These are critical times to look out for. Okay, and now in oil futures, right? So I'm sorry, the pro shares of Boyle. So we did get the upside that we were still looking for yet again. Okay, so this, I mean, sometimes this can play kind of a hedge against the broader markets, but it's really interesting that it actually met the broader markets for an upside pivot. So I like what's happening. Referencing volatility versus momentum on the 4-hour chart, momentum still pivoted towards the upside. Let's see if we have any setups on the 8-hour. So the 8-hour, come on, let's load it. All right, so the 8-hour is starting to get a pivot towards the upside, and we're now actually contracting yet again. Okay, so this is actually a positive signal. It means that the ticker symbol Boyle may actually still see a continuation to the upside. The targets that I do see coming in upon strength in the markets is actually still right within this area here, 628 to about $6.42. Very likely to find an overall resistance within this area. Okay, so, and now please notice that we're on the 8-hour chart. RSI is getting a bullish cross above the 14-day simple moving average and approaching that gravitational zone. So Boyle is definitely still looking like it's bullish, you know, at least from my perspective here. Okay, so now let's move on to the 12-hour and see what kind of setups we have there. Okay, very, very curious right here, as we got so close to critical volatility, almost 90%, started a contraction phase alongside stochastic momentum, pivoted towards the upside, very likely going to continue on to the upside for a few days. Daily time frame, very, very strong closure here. Definitely looking like a very good V-shaped recovery, right? Notice that the 14-day simple moving average is now below the signal line, sorry. And also notice that the particular way in which we're crossing the moving average is very bullish in and of its own, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, when we're crossing the moving average on an upside pivot, it's even yet more bullish than when it is being crossed on a downside. Okay, so see how it can get faked out like this and then continue on to the downside. Even similar to here, right? I'm sorry, there are a few situations here to where we crossed it on the downside. So we don't want to cross this when the 14-day simple on the RSI is downward. Okay, so in this case, this is actually a very good indication that Boyle may continue on to the upside for a few days. By daily iteration, consideration here, finding support from that 14-day simple and suggesting an upside continuation, very much outside of the gravitational zone, so there is no immediate danger for a capitulation event from Boyle. Okay, so a little bit of sideways trading on the 3-day, and the 5-day should be consolidation as well. Yeah, you guys, so Boyle still looking very good. Remember the targets that I'm looking at, very much at 626 to about 642, and also please notice here that in about a day and 16 hours we could be printing a very bullish hammer right here after a downtrend. So this could be overall a very good thing for the ticker symbol Boyle. Okay, so that is going to do it for the broader markets, and I do think that we have some pretty interesting opportunities coming up. But do know guys that I am very particular about the opportunities, as I typically look for long entry or short entries, usually when they're after the data releases, right? So definitely we're not going to rate anything today. Mark Roach, thank you for reminding me. Based on the CPI dangers that it can pose for retail, we are going to hold back from actually rating any of these things. Okay, you guys. Stick Vicious, what is up, my dude? JDXL, what is up, man? Ray Moon, what's up? What's up? Paul, very happy to see you here, man. Thank you so much for joining. Moderator DJ, what is up, my dude? Saying, Arca, my bro, can we get an AMC update if you have the time? Tomorrow is a huge day. It seems to have hit support for a bounce. Please know, you guys, that moderator DJ has really never asked me for anything in a live ticker. So of course, due to the immense amount of help that these guys do for me, I can definitely do that, right? So let's go ahead and just take a look at AMC real quick, you guys. And I think I do have yeah, okay, so I figured a lot of people would be wanting. So what's the deal tomorrow, you guys? Why are we getting a good day, or what is it? Why is it a big day for AMC? Let's see. I'm not actually getting anything in particular here, but nah, it's no problem at all. All right, so I just want to put out that remember, AMC is definitely actually let me write it in my notes right down here that I am gonna do this, right? So perfect. So please remember, guys, that AMC sometimes tends to be a sympathy run to, so tomorrow is the RS vote. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness, man. So, geez, that's going to be a very interesting day. Okay. There's already an indication. I don't want to say it like this, right? So, Mr. Levis, what is up, my dude? So, I just wanna present an idea here, okay? I'm not gonna give you the like what's gonna happen tomorrow, because no one knows. We're not gonna. We all feel like they're gonna vote yes for the RS, right? So we all kind of have an idea about that, right? But an indication, and this is a very speculative thing, okay? And it's super discretionary, and it has nothing to do with mathematical models or probabilities whatsoever. Okay, so I just want you to know that we do have a resistance touch right now on the daily, which means that we're essentially failing the broadening descending wedge. Okay, so let's now count our resistance touches. So we have test number 1. This is fake out. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So usually test number 3, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. That test number 3 is usually the test that capitulates the hardest. Okay, so remember, it's just speculation. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. I'm just telling you that usually the test number 3 of a broadening descending wedge is usually the strongest capitulation test. Okay, which means that this has the possibility to continue on to the downside sub $5, so maybe $4.93. Okay, there won't be any fault in this thing actually trying to wick down to our support level of our macro ascending channel, okay, which could be right at about $4.41. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm just giving you an indication of what could be in line here, okay? Because sometimes, and I'm talking about very, very, very often actually, you tend to have people who know something in the markets and who do insider trading. But of course, it's speculation. It's alleged, right? It's not really the case. But I'm just giving you information based on my own bias, my own opinion, right? So there could be potential to where somebody already knows something. So this is potentially why this thing is selling off, potentially releasing profits as you're going down. Now we're realizing the inside of this channel resistance touch just got validated today. Potential continuation to the downside. And another thing is, guys, is that even if we did get a no for the RS, or a yes. It doesn't matter what we get. This thing is gonna find its way, and it's gonna do the opposition of what we want it to do in the first place. Okay, so now, enough of speculation, and let's just see what it has in line. Okay, so the daily time frame on the RSI seems to be following a regression line right here, right? So very interesting fact here is that this could be another indication of a resistance coming up. I know that I don't like these upside pivots, and why don't I like these tiny pivots? Well, because they can fail. See, upside pivot, fail, right? So we have an upside pivot, fail. So it's just the way kind of things work in the RSI sometimes. Okay, so again, we're failing the regression line here. We could be facing the resistance from the regression itself and continue to the downside. In fact, today on the daily, we actually reached the bear weakness percentile, which, you know, we were in bull weakness before. We made the cross today. In the last 2 days, we made the cross below the 14-day simple, and now we're suggesting a downside continuation. So that's another kind of indication to see what, as far as psychology, right? Is it psychologically telling us up, or is it psychologically telling us down? We could get kind of those ideas from the asset itself. Okay, so another quick little thing for us to notice is that yes, we do have a herpy derpy right over here, right, you guys? So go ahead and notice that this is your shoulder here, right? Let me just put it like this, and then you have your head here, and then you have another shoulder here, right? So that's something, you know, it doesn't have the best hit rate in the world. I hate those little formations. They're silly at best, right? But still, definitely suggesting a continuation to the downside. Now, if we were to gauge a potential downside price objective, then we take it from the neckline, trend line from the neckline to the very top side of the head, right? And then we apply it to the bottom, to the neckline, from the neckline to the shoulder. Go ahead and notice that the trend line is actually leading right to what we were talking about, to about the bottom side of this macro scale ascending channel that we've been riding for some time, right? This huge thing. So, I mean, there are several things kind of rhyming with that bottom side. Right, so I just want you guys to know that it's not the end of the world. It's just going to be reactive to whatever we get, no matter what we see. Right, so very high potential for us to get a capitulation event, no matter good news or bad news. All right, so as you guys already know, that there's a huge amount of confusion within AMC and that RS. Some people say yes, and you don't know what you're talking about. Some people say no, and you don't know what you're talking about. So this is the reason why we may actually face a fearful sell-off based on good or bad news, because there's just too much of a jumble of information out there that not a lot of people know what to make of, right? It's just too many avenues to look at. But what I can see here is that there is room for a continuation to the downside based on several factors. All right, so now 30-minute immediate short term suggesting upside. Remember, that lives out really fast. Okay, bi-hourly time frame. Let's see what it's got. Okay, so the bi-hourly is right now, it's trying to actually make its upside continuation here. So it may very well try to accumulate. But I can't say that this is going to be a long shot to the upside. In fact, we could face a resistance right from the area of about, let's see. Yeah, we can face the resistance at right about 558 to about 556, where we've been facing resistances for days. Okay, very curious price action there. Here's another 558 target right here. There's all these supports at 558, 558, 558. All of these areas here are relevant to the resistance that we may face based on the bi-hourly time frame. Okay, so now the 6-hour time frame is suggesting upside with a limited upside, 14-day simple moving average above us. Yet again, this could be the broadening descending wedge resistance. And where is that resistance? 555. Does that sound familiar? Well, we were just looking at a bunch of resistances at that 558 level. Okay, you guys, so that's why I'm saying this could be we could be seeing the potentials of the direction for AMC tomorrow before we get the results, even in. So I just want to give you like hints, right? I just want to give you ways to look at it rather than only relying on the fundamental metrics. So we have a little bit of consolidation here, still with a little bit of a downside pivot from that 14-day simple on the 12-hour. Daily is still suggesting, we already looked at the daily, that little pivot that we don't like, right? So the buy daily is suggesting a downside continuation. Of course, we have that 14-day simple above us, and let's look at the 3-day. 3-day now making a very bearish cross below that 14-day simple, definitely suggesting a continuation to the downside. And the 5-day is suggesting a limited downside. Okay, so now please remember that we still have a day and 16 hours to close this 5-day candle. What does that mean, really? Okay, that means that the distance between this RSI signal and the 14-day moving average is kind of a distance away. It's pretty far away from us. Okay, so it could be indicative to maybe a moving average in the 5-day. Let's pull it up. Let's see. Okay, so maybe not that. Let me see the EMAs. Okay, the EMAs neither, nothing there. So now it's going to have to play on geometrics by themselves. Okay, so let's just go ahead and take a daily inverse fib from the current day's price action. Okay, so we'll take it from the swing low to the swing high in an inverse manner. And let's see. So we do have, I already have a target that I was looking at back here based on the wick low of this candle. Just go ahead and notice the cursor all the way to the right at 505 where the 1.618 is. Okay, so very likely that could be the 5-day target. Okay, so if we do face the 5-day target here, very likely we can face a bounce to the upside, test at either the 516 or the 1 fib at 525, which is the low of this candle here, and then continue on to the downside, meaning we could be ladder attacking here. Okay, so that is what I'm looking at for ticker symbol AMC. And again, please remember, guys, I'm not trying to be a bear. In fact, I'm long AMC, and I don't want it to go to the downside for the freaking first time in years. I hate it. Okay, so I don't want to say this out loud. Of course I don't, you know. So it's just I'm facing the facts. I have somebody actually in Twitter said something very interesting of me. They said, you know, there's all this like mixed information. Sometimes I just have to look at things. I have to refer to the sober analysis from Arca Bulls, and I started laughing when I read that. I started laughing because it is true. I am definitely not looking at this with a bias, right? I'm looking at this based on what the charts are saying and based on what the math is saying. That's all. And you know, I'll add my discretion in there, sure. But I felt like that was a pretty good way to represent the way I look at things, right? It is in a sense sober or sobering, right? So, man, I really don't want to say that, you guys. So that's gonna do it for ticker symbol AMC. As you know, we're definitely not going to rate these tickers today. Okay, we want to make sure to stay safe. We want to prepare for the easier trades that can be after CPI. But please remember that PPI data, the producer price index, will also be released, I believe, this week on Thursday or Friday, maybe. Okay, so just know that there are two macroeconomic reports that are definitely going to affect the markets. Okay, so CPI tomorrow and PPI coming up. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and just let's just go ahead and end off with the AMC ticker now and move on to the next one. Okay, you guys, we still have a few tickers to look at. Please remember that we're going to be looking at whatever's up here on the schedule, right? So in my personal a lot of people have been asking me for ticker symbol MYO. Okay, so and I didn't get to see it the other day either. Okay, so I'm curious to see what MYO may or may not have for us, right? Because there are some influencers behind this ticker, and it could be indicative of an upside. You know, there is just a lot of playing around in the markets. That was my dog Hans. He was barking over there. I don't know about what, but he's been barking more often since we actually had our baby girl Sasha, you know, leave the world. So Hans has been a little. I think he has separation anxiety, so I tend to have him with me all the time now. So right now the guy is actually over there just barking at I don't know what in the wind, but it was definitely something random. Okay. Thanos, what's up, man? Appreciate you doing the COSM video Arca. Dude, of course, man. Not a problem at all. I did promise, I think it was you, right? I promised you and Sebastian Lim that I would make a dedicated video, and I still covered it on Saturday for the live stream. So all good, all good. So I'm just going to go ahead and load up the RSI right here for the ticker symbol MYO, as I know a lot of people are looking into this, like I said. So let's get some moving averages as well, because there very well could be an opportunity lined up here. Okay, so, and now I'm actually very curious as to what this thing, okay, so it's NYSE Arca. Okay, so, all right. I mean, it could be a little... It could be responsive to the broader markets as well, okay, because it is listed under the NYSE Arca. So is we have to watch whatever happens here. Another thing to look at right away. Yeah, definitely. Another thing to look at here is the potential of building in a rising wedge, right? So these rising wedges are absolutely bearish formations, and they suggest downside coming in. Now, the thing here is that we're only at test 1 of the resistance, which if I'm not mistaken, actually we could take the wedge all the way actually down here. And it does make a lot of sense like this too, actually. Wow. Okay, so we have test number 1 and 2. Okay, so there could be an upside for MYO. And if we do face an upside, where the heck can it actually be? Well, if we have a resistance touch at about 84.64, what is that percentage in the first place? Let's see. So if we are talking about 84.64, you're looking at about a 6.5% to the upside before a drop back down. But if it is 1, 2, and this would be test 3, oh man, then this thing could actually fail if FOMO doesn't actually take it into control here. So please go ahead and notice that. Apologies, I have a little bit of a scratchy throat right now. I'm not exactly sure why. So please notice this gap right over here, that this today we came right back up to touch that resistance of that gap perfectly. Okay, and we retrace and thus printing an indecision candle. So this is a spinning top doji here on the 12 hours. So it is a pretty high quality candle, and it is suggesting kind of a tie between the bears and the bulls, if you will. Right, so in this case, if we are going to be facing an upside, then we definitely faced a support from maybe the EMA 7 down here. So let me load up that as well. Let's see. Okay, so any day now. There we go. So there you go. The EMA 7 definitely faced that support, just like we were talking about, right? And we got that upside pump. All right, so if this means that we have a few moving averages below us, then we could potentially be setting up to break out of this in a very rare fashion, because it's not always that we break out to the positive side on an ascending wedge. Okay, because usually this wedge can give us a price objective that can be found, taking a trend line from that top side of the triangle to the lower end of the triangle. I can actually just kind of eyeball this here and apply it to the supposed area of breakout, which is usually found at about 65 to 70% to the apex of the triangle. Okay, so if this were maybe the 60 or 70%, then our downside target could be at about 45.60, which is honestly very confluent. It would be a resistance range. I'm sorry, support range that I could give you like this, right? So it would be something like this. I'm not saying that we are going to go to the downside. I'm just saying that it's a higher probability because of the wedge. But seeing that we have a massive amount of moving averages and also the support line from the wedge itself, then there could be a rare breakout situation here. If we start testing the test number 4 of this bearish formation, then that starts to kind of potentially create a bear trap, right? So let's go ahead and now reference our momentum via the RSI on a shorter time frame. So let's start off with the 30-minute immediate short term and see what it's got. Okay, so we have a little bit of consolidation, which is very much indicative to what we looked at on the 12-hour indecision spinning top doji candle, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the bi-hourly. We can't really use that. All right, so the bi-hourly also showing us that battle, what is it called? The tie between the bears and the bulls. Also consolidation. Let's continue on the analysis here. Okay, so let's just go ahead and see. Okay, a little bit of an upside pivot right here from the 6-hour RSI, but please remember that we do have the resistance from the 14-day simple. What I do like is that the moving average seems to, it actually appears to be starting its upside or an incline here. So if we are going to cross it to the upside, this could be a bullish signal. Okay, that we are kind of influencing that 14-day simple to the upside. Very good stuff. Let's go to the 12-hour and see what it's got. 12-hour already using that 14-day simple as a support. Definitely continuing on to the upside very aggressively. This is convincing enough. And we do have the gravitational zone here of the bull strength percentile. Okay, so as soon as we do reach this zone, which could be just at about 68%, then the likelihood of a continuation to the upside becomes a lot greater. Okay, so this is great. So let me look at the daily now, and see if there's any setup. Okay, daily finding that support from the 14-day simple with an upside pivot. Let's see. And a little bit of consolidation on the buy daily, but on the buy daily, momentum is suggesting upside with critical volatility or very close to critical volatility. Okay, so very likely this can actually face some upside. Okay, so we're definitely gonna have to see what sentiment is gonna do with it. Okay, so what I'm basically saying now is that this could be preparing its upside or a bull trap of sorts, and it could be preparing it based on the higher term time frames, and it looks like the shorter terms are going to impact the higher terms even harder. So if sentiment decides to take this to the moon, it will very likely happen this coming session. Okay, as it does present an opportunity for that upside. Okay, you guys, so that is it for ticker symbol MYO. I'm not going to give you any particular targets right now, but if you do feel like looking at a potential loading zone, sure, 73, 76, but the upside, the more obvious targets are going to land at about 93.03. Okay, so we need to combat that area first, as it is absolutely a space of resistance that we need to combat. Okay, so the 93.03 to about 98.44, that needs to be beat, and we need to close it with a minimum 8-hour candle above that area before a continuation onto the upside. Okay, you guys, so that is it for ticker symbol MYO. Let's go ahead and finish it off and continue on to the next one. What is up, chat? Very, very excited to be streaming tonight. Please make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And if you are curious to join the Arca Bulls trading community in Discord, go ahead and refer to the links in the description below. Okay, you guys. One more thing, actually, for MYO, go ahead and notice that we just got an earnings beat today. It looks like. Wow. Did we really? Yeah, we got an earnings beat today. And it's very interesting that the earnings beat came in and we capitulated, right? See what I mean? It's not like the old days where we get a good earnings and then the thing rallies to the upside. In fact, it went down first and then it went up. So very, very curious times here. And another good thing is that it looks like it has a lot more earnings beats than it does the earnings misses, right? So this company is doing something good. And if you are curious to the cap of it, right, let's look at the market cap real fast. That is 16.10 million, and the float is about 19.10. Okay, so it is a little bit of a high risk play even still. Okay, you guys, so stick vicious. Sorry, I couldn't wait. Had to check out the new cosmetic vid quick. Oh, COSM, you mean. And but I'm back now. Thanks, Battle. Not a problem, my Battle. Thank you so much for coming by, and thank you so much for that tip. It very much means so much as I do try very, very hard for the community, right, you guys? So let's go ahead and now continue on our analysis, right, you guys? So I have another request, and that is actually going to be ticker symbol LUNR. Okay, you guys, so actually let me move VS as it is right here, actually, and it would be yes. Okay, so ticker symbol LUNR is let's see. I want to look at, I know that I already came into this time frame because I saw everything else. Of course, look at, my goodness. All right, so usually when things like this happens, you guys, like the RSI momentum and everything kind of flashes, right? But still it looks like it could be setting up a very nice opportunity. Okay, so if we're going to look at anything first, let's go ahead and just take a look at the daily volatility versus momentum profile. And go ahead and notice that we are now starting to print our first daily read of critical volatility, which is within the 90 percentile of volatility. Okay, volatility represented by this indicator BBWP. Remember, volatility is direction neutral. Okay, so that's why we pair it with a momentum-based indicator. Go ahead and notice that we're starting to get that upside pivot right now. Okay, so that's a very good indication of a continuation to the way up, particular to the daily time frame. All right, so let me look at the upper terms even further. Okay, so yeah, still a little bit of downside to face on the buy daily, as the daily is still prepping for that upside as well, right? So we're starting to contract on volatility, so that setup is very nice. Let's go to the 3-day. All right, so the 3-day is still suggesting a little bit of further downside as well, but the setup looks very nice again. Critical volatility up here. This is making me curious over the shorter time frames. And the 5-day, of course, is flashed to the downside, and it's very, very much critically expanded for quite some time now. In fact, it looks like we could have even seen this move coming when we were down here. And the reason why I'm saying this is because look at where stochastic momentum was, and look at where we had first started critical volatility. and it moved on to the upside. So I mean, I'm not sure that I could have told you that it would have gone to $136 or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that I could have told you that it was going to go up significantly, right? So now let's go down actually to the 12-hour RSI, and I mean, I'm sorry, volatility versus momentum, and we have very limited information. I hate it when that happens. They're like not giving me all the information that I need, everything pertinent to before. Man, look at this. And we don't have any RSI there either. That really sucks. Okay, let me see here. So if we're judging this based on raw price action and not on indicators for the shorter time frames, then let's do that. Fucking hell, you know, Arca has the skills for both discretionary and systematic, so screw all of you. Whoever's trying to hide information from me, right? So let's look at the EMAs as well, and I'm gonna just get very, very technical with this. Okay, so let's see. No, I actually don't want to do that. Let me pull up the EMA 7 and 30 period, and also I'm gonna pull up the exponentials 20 period and 50 period. So those are gonna be clear indicators for us to evaluate a potential upside. Okay, so right away we can see that the 20-day exponential moving average is being used as a relevant resistance. Okay, so this is already an area that we need to combat. Very interesting that the EMA 20 is landing right at the resistance of this candle here, the top side of this candle. Okay, so if we're looking at further validators for a downside, then very, very much so it could be a shooting star here on the 12-hour, 8-hour bearish engulfing. Okay, so we already have 2 indicators and also 1, 2, and 3 touches of the EMA 20 potential downside coming in, but we're finding SMA 10 support right now. So let's continue on the immediate short term and see if we even have an RSI there at all. Okay, so we do have some stuff here. Good. All right, so on the 30-minute, we're building, this is the time frame that I told you guys earlier, right? So we're building something very curious here on the 30. I hated that it's the 30-minute though, because it doesn't have that much weight. Okay, so this is, it could be a descending channel, or it could be, no, actually, it's more than likely a descending channel. Yeah, just like this. So this is the starting candle, this little red one here. Okay, so we're very close. We're very close to the support of the descending channel. So very likely we can actually come back down 1379, even a little lower. Okay, so the 1379. Let me just put a trend line here so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so right here, go ahead and notice the support's right over here. Okay, so that and the support right over here with this candle here. Okay, the resistance from this candle here, and also the fact that it's the bottom side of the gap. Okay, so there's a lot that we're kind of, you know, in right now. And first of all, let me just make a drawing of the gap itself too. Okay, so you can see what I'm looking at even further. All right, go ahead and notice that we have used this gap as a support already, the top side, just like we always talk about. Okay, so now not a good enough candle, a bullish hammer, right, an inverted hammer, not a good enough candle for us to continue on to the upside. This needs a higher wick. It needs to break market structure from our critical resistances, which would be these here, and it didn't get that. Okay, so this is still an indication for a downside continuation. All right, so very, very likely this can actually come back down to this zone. And what is this zone known as for us? This is a demand zone. Okay, so this is demand zone number 1 for us to kind of take into consideration. Okay, so I'm just going to extend it just a little bit like this. And if we are to face another demand zone, then there could be another one right down here. Okay, but these demand zones are very dangerous, and I'm saying this because we have just a slip and slide of gaps over here. Okay, so that's it gets a little dangerous here. Okay, so yes, we do have another tiny demand zone right down here, located at about 12.85 to about $13. Okay, I'm not saying that we're gonna go all the way down there. First of all, we're in a bullish formation. Okay, this bullish formation does need the golden rule of 3 to be met. Okay, so we do need test number 1, 2, and a potential test number 3, followed by another capitulation event, and then the bullish breakout. Okay, but what we could be looking out for here is that it may have an upside that could be of like epic proportion, right? So if this thing were to face a bounce from that loading zone, then we could definitely find a 25 to 30% gainer. And that would be a very good opportunity for the ticker symbol LUNR. Okay, so if we still have downside even suggested from the 30-minute, then yeah, we can actually see the relevance of about 1379, even down to this area here of about 1285 to 13. It could very well be one of those things that we do go and reaccumulate, then push on to the upside, right? So everything's kind of in the RSI, everything's kind of suggesting just consolidation right now. Immediate short-term timeframes is where it's going to be. So very likely to see that downside in I'd say the early session tomorrow. Okay, you guys. So if we are looking at higher timeframes now, then there could be the potential that we're building a very, very silly bull flag here. Okay, so it could very well be in play still. I like it. All right, so it's not bad whatsoever, you guys. So that's gonna do it for ticker symbol LUNR, and I want to just try to kind of pummel these or power through these, right, as best as we could. I'm actually trying to get through them as fast as possible, right? Because a lot of times I can't get through the tickers that a lot of people request, and I do feel bad, right? So, but I can only do my best, right, you guys? But I do appreciate everybody for hanging out here with the family. Beso Amy saying Detective Arca. Oh man, yeah, that it would be Detective Arca, right? So I don't know when the 2-day iteration is gonna close, but this is a bullish engulfing here. Right, and I definitely don't like that we're printing a bi-daily shooting star after an uptrend. It looks like it already got its upside. So I hope that's not the end-all be-all for this ticker, right? So yeah, things are still looking okay for this ticker, all right, you guys? So I'm not sure what's going to happen fundamentally, but it may actually reach to the upside soon-ish. We'll continue looking at these tickers as best as we can as the days progress, okay? So now, technical arc analysis. That is a definition of TA, Mark Roach. Dude, good times. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and end off with ticker symbol LUNR and start off with a sip of water. Getting a little thirsty here. There it is, man. So what's up, team? What is up? What are we looking to long tomorrow? Are you guys in TENX or what? Who's in TENX? Throw some A's in the chat if you are in TENX at this moment in time, man. That is, you guys are gamblers. I don't believe you. What is good, you guys? All right. So look at that. Mark Roach is in TENX. I know that Sebastian Lim is also long that ticker, right? So I like it, man. I mean, it's just I actually broke my rule. I broke my rule in that ticker, and Mark Roach, 10x average 51 cents. My bro balling out. Hell yes. I broke my rule. Trevor Brown also long 10x. Man, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be long. So my battle, stick vicious. If you are looking at 10x, then the entry is like, I mean, I am literally at break even right now, and I'm definitely long it. Okay, so. So what I'm saying by breaking my rule is that I actually chased it a little bit this time, right? So, but I didn't chase it. I didn't chase it like full balls out, right? I chased it with about a 15% portfolio. So very, very conservative. And when it did drop to, I think 50 something cents, then I went a little heavier, and it brought my average. I think I was at 69 or 70 cents, right? So then it brought my average down another 3 cents. So yes, I did chase it just a little bit. I am in the money about 1% or 2% right now, so everything is still good. Everything is still good. Beso Amy, you didn't get in, so you're debating it. Okay, so then I encourage you to take a look at the video that I just released, because I do see an upside still happening, right? So Mark Rush saying if they get FDA approval, in my opinion, it will fly, dude. I mean, if the charts are suggesting it, then actually that may very well come true. And I'm not, guys. I definitely remember I'm not a fortune teller, right? I'm definitely not the wizard, as I'm often I'm often referred to as that, right? I'm not saying that whatsoever. Okay, I'm just telling you that there is a potential that this thing has like some ridiculous upside. Okay, so now if you are gonna play it, remember that you are pretty much gambling because of the CPI data release. But rest assured, guys, I have my stop loss in, and I will not lose more than I'm willing to lose, okay? So just know, when you go into a ticker, you can look at it in this perspective. You can say things like, okay, I'm willing to lose 150 bucks on this ticker if it actually favors my direction, right? So you can put your stop loss there. So oftentimes momentum traders and professional traders set their stop losses at 5 to about 11% loss, okay? So depending on just how much of a conviction you have on the play itself, right? So you can do a wider stop loss, which is less, it's not always recommended, right? So you can do a wider stop loss saying that I'm willing to risk this much in order for an upside to happen. Now, if you're looking at it strategically, then maybe you can say I'm willing to go in at this level, but not all of what I'm willing to go into in respects to a potential downside coming in. So if it does go to the downside, then you have the rest of whatever you're trying to get into, thus improving your cost basis. Okay, so that's another way to look at it. And then from there, you set your stop loss. Guys, no matter what, okay, no matter what, I know it's so hard. It was also hard for me too. Okay, I know it's so difficult to set your stop losses, okay, but please do so. All right, because that is essentially going to be our savior. That is going to be the reason we survive for another day of trading. Okay, you guys. So just make sure to set those stops. Keep your risk management in play. Be creative with the way you play risk, just as creative as you are in making the long entries or short entries. Okay. Powerlifter, what's up, my dude? Saying yo, hello, Arca, and everyone. Anyone mention any of the bank tickers like FRC? So actually, I did take a look at SIVB a little earlier, but we still have to revise it. I have not looked at ticker FRC, but what can you tell me, man? Is that another one that is that a SIVB client by chance? FRC, or do they have were they long SIVB? Man, so Stickfish is saying Arca Master Course additional week 9 chasing and when break rules. It's going to be week 10 Arca Master's Course. It's going to be called When Moon. Okay? When Lambo. All right, you guys. So Powerlifter saying, dude, no, just another bank that needed assistance. Very interesting. But you said it's a dangerous play. Wow, you guys. Okay, so have risk management. Don't be like Silicon Valley Bank, says Mark Roach. Man, those guys literally dipped 85% to the downside, guys. That is not a joke. It is very sad for the people who were long that ticker and didn't have their stop losses set. I really hope that a lot of people did get at least forced out with some type of trailing stop on at least the macro timeframes, right? So you can set a trailing stop even if you're looking at the dailies. So you can set it as a, take profits if this thing falls more than 8% and you're still up like 100%, then, so be it. Then you'll be safe. And it's all good. So Powerlifter saying, but it's on the uptick now. Very interesting. Okay, so went from 124-ish down to 14, now back to 37. Dude, that sounds like a crazy ass dead cat bounce. So, man, if it does have upside, I'm willing to look at it. But please, Eric, please, I actually have a crazy schedule. I'll try to add it and I'll try to look at it. But send me a DM. Maybe you and I can look at it together, right, my brother? You know that I always try my best for you guys, right? So, Sebastian, send me that DM. Let's get into that ticker too, bro. Because, guys, Sebastian Lim always refers or recommends some crazy ass ticker, and this guy just, for some reason, he nails them all. Beso Amy saying, I've never seen a failed bank so happy about diversity. Damn. Man, we are stoked today. Yeah. That's a good point. Very good point. All right. So, guys, let's go ahead and start off the analysis here on ticker symbol CENN, as I'm actually not familiar with. I think I've looked at it once before, right? So I'm not sure if this is actually the ticker that I've looked at, but I didn't seem to have. I actually didn't have it loaded. Sorry, I pulled up the wrong information there, you guys. So yeah, ticker symbol CENN. Let me just make a note here that we are starting it officially and move on. All right, you guys. So Let's go to the daily. Like always, guys, we have to look at this in the macro perspective, right? So very, very interesting price action. So what is this telling me, guys? First of all, let me just look at the cap, right? We're looking at a man. Okay, so 115.42 million cap, and we have a float of about 168.84 mil. Okay, so it's not bad. It's not bad whatsoever. So which means that now let's just look at where it's listed. Okay, so go ahead and notice that it is a NASDAQ ticker, right? So the reason why we're looking at this crazy price action right here is I mean, actually, this is very similar to things like the TQQQ. Okay, so in the Qs, you'll and also the SQQQ, right? So let's go ahead and just look at that real fast so that you can see what I'm talking about, right? So let me just look at CNN's time frame that we're looking at right now. Wow, sorry about that, guys. This is a very old ticker that I've been I'm sorry, this is a very old chart that we were looking at, right? But this is what I'm talking about here. Please notice this candle. I know you guys are getting blinded right now. My apologies, right? So just notice this candle right over here having that huge downside and huge upside, right? Very much indicative of broader market influence, okay? So this is why we're looking at that, okay? So now we know that this thing is a sympathy play to the broader markets, okay? Very, very, very good hint for us to consider. So let me just refer to volatility versus momentum on this as well and see what it's got for us. Okay, so I'll load up that and that. Let's go ahead and push it to our traditional setup here so that we can move on the analysis as per usual, right? So, all right, so now looking at the immediate short-term time frame, let's go down to the 30-minute and see what it's got, right? So first of all, the 30-minute is printing a very high-quality bearish candle, but we still have a massive upside suggestion here on the RSI signal. Okay, so the RSI signal still pivoted straight to the upside. It looks like we're converting that SMA 50 right now into 30-minute as a form of support. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Another thing that we can also look at is the simple fact that the 30-minute time frame has created an essential break of market structure. Okay, so now that we're not creating these lows, right, we actually just broke that structure and now suggesting an upside continuation. 30-minute SMA 100 resistance found pretty dead on. So that's another indication that it is following the moving averages pretty closely. All right, so bi-hourly time frame also with a very huge shooting star. However, we still have that SMA 10 down here at about 41 cents, 41.32 to be exact. Okay, you guys, so let's move on to the 6-hour and see what it's got for us. As I start to, here you go. Okay, all the setups are starting now for the upside on the 6-hour, potentially 4-hour. Let's see. Yep, starting on the 4-hour. Okay, so here we go, you guys. This is the candle that we're looking for. Of course, you know that I don't like to look at candle analysis on the 4-hour. I actually tend to look at them minimum. No way, Mark. Are you serious? What? Yeah, that's those are the bounces that we need, man. All right, thank you for sharing that, my bro. Yeah, we need that type of pump. Very interesting times. Anyway, so yes, guys, this is the candle that we're looking for on CENN, okay? Huge wick to the bottom, definitely tiny body at the top, definitely a hammer candle, okay? This is the epitome of a hammer candle, although I wish it was on the minimum 8-hour or the daily time frame where I usually like to look at things, okay? 4-hour RSI crossing the 14-day simple, very bullish here. And now this is the validator, okay? This candle is the validator, sorry. So it is suggesting a continuation to the upside. Go ahead and notice here, volatility versus momentum. This is a prime setup, okay, you guys? So we are, I mean, not exactly prime. I wish this was at 90 now, damn it. Okay, so it's still arguably very close to that critical volatility zone, which is at the 90%. And it looks like we may actually start a contraction phase alongside an upside pivot with stochastic momentum, that oval that I often talk about, right? So let's move on. Let's see if we have this set up somewhere else, because this could be a very, very interesting move. Okay, so go ahead and notice here the same oval happening within volatility versus momentum. Although I still wish that we were within the critical volatility zone, which could be at about 90%. We still have an upside pivot both from the EMA 3 and the SMA 14 of the stochastic momentum, aka K% and D%. Okay, so man, ETH is pumping. All right, so yeah, guys, let's go ahead and look at the 12-hour volatility versus momentum and see what it's got. Okay, similar setup. We're starting to get we're starting to get an upside pivot on a lot of these time frames, and it looks like we have 8-hour versus the 12-hour. Okay, so the 12-hour looking like it has a little bit of resistance here, and please do note that we have been below the 14-day simple moving average on ticker symbol CENN since February 7th, 2023, and we are looking like we could finally potentially find the saving grace and actually breaking out of this 14-day simple finally. Okay, but I'm not saying that it's gonna happen. It just looks like, or it's indicative of it, right? So daily time frame also facing a little bit of resistance, and if we can actually just look back historically in the price action, maybe we can tell what or why we would be facing that resistance. Okay, so I mean, all of the targets that we were looking at have been faced, right? So good, we can get rid of some of those things. And let me get rid of this trend line as well. And now we can actually start seeing what those potentials are, okay? Let me bring this down a little bit and favor the price action, right? So, all right. So there it is. We have a gap here, guys, and we already faced the resistance of that gap today. Remember, I like to keep the gaps in regardless of them being filled or not, because previous gaps play for future play. Okay, so now if we are facing another resistance touch based on the daily suggestion, very likely we can face a resistance from 46.14. And if we do face that resistance once more, that would mean that we're knocking at the door at this, right? So very likely to find a retracement back to the area of about, I'd say these candles here, right? So it would be at about 42.46 as a retracement, a loading zone, and then a continuation to the upside. Okay, so let's see the setups on the buy daily. Yeah, the buy daily is already a critical oversold on stochastic momentum. We're starting to get an upside pivot on the RSI, and it looks like contraction phase may start on volatility too. So yeah, there is an upside to be faced with CENN, but please remember that this is in respects to the CPI, right? So it is going to be broader market influenced, and this is or it could be a sympathy play to that. Okay, you guys. So this is incredibly important that we can see the potentials for this ticker. Another discretionary thing that we can actually point out here is that I can already see a descending channel being formed here, right? So if this is it right here, then this is very likely. This is very likely to face the downside as well as it is the upside. And why am I being that, that confusing, right? It's I don't mean to be confusing, guys. It's just the point is that we're at the medium. We're literally at the average range, right? So we're right at the smack in the middle with what looks like a buy daily indecision candle. So it's indicative of a potential upside or downside. Literally, there's nothing I can do about this, right? So if it is going to face an upside, then there are a couple ways that we can look at this, right? So we can look at this as the start of a bullish formation, right? So in this case, we could very well have found a support today, right? So this could be prepping for an upside breakout. So looking at test number 1, 2, 3, capitulation event, support found, test number 4, breakout, right? So it could be that as well, right? But we have test number 1, 2, and 3, biggest capitulation event on test 3. So this is why I'm telling you that it's very hard for us to kind of like determine where this is going to go, because it's smack in the middle. Right. But yeah, so we are at a potential upside continuation here. If it does get that upside, then very likely this thing can make, upon a good CPI read, right, 141.58% or 85% to the upside. So huge upside. OK, so but remember, downside would be just as grand. Right. So you're looking at about a 50% loss to the downside. So it's huge risk either way, you guys. Keep an eye on it, though. Keep an eye on it, because this thing it seems primed for an upside move rather than a downside. Okay, so if in my personal bias, I'm kind of leaning towards the bulls than I am towards the bears. But that ratio is very tight. I'm talking about 6 out of 10. I'm talking about 1 or 0 out of 10, right? I'm probably at a. Or if we're looking at percentage-wise, I'm probably looking at, I don't know. I'm not even going to say that, guys. But just know that I'm favoring a little more to the bulls than I am towards the bears. I don't want I don't want to trap anyone within this, right? But just know it as that, right? And I'm going to leave it at that. All right, you guys, so this is what I'm looking at for ticker symbol CENN, and let's go ahead and just finish it off now and continue on to the next ticker. Please remember that we are not going to be rating the tickers tonight because, or in respects to the CPI read that we are due to face tomorrow, guys. Okay, so the CPI is coming in hot. Okay, I hope it doesn't actually come in at a 6.4 or higher. Okay, if it comes in at 6.4 or higher, the markets are very likely to sell off. If we seem or we appear to have CPI in control and it comes in below 64%, I would say 6.4%, then guys, we may be setting up for a very nice rally to the upside, broader markets. Okay, so if we do get that upside, very likely AMC is going to follow that. Very likely CENN is going to follow that. Okay, the SPY is going to follow that. Okay, TQQQ is going to follow that. The QQQ is going to follow that. It's going to be a lot of tickers to the upside, okay, including crypto, ETH, BTC, all of that stuff, okay, you guys, and also even the Ultra Pro shares of Boyle for gas, for nat gas. Okay, so that stuff is very likely to face an upside move as well, as it would be an indication of the repair of our broader market economy. Okay, so if our economy is looking good, then the markets are going to look good. Okay, you guys, so keep an eye on your longs, because that information released tomorrow, that economic data tomorrow, is going to play a key role into what can happen for us. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and move on to the next ticker, and that's going to be ticker symbol SIVB, which is the very, very renowned you know who this is, man, damn it. Why did they lose all this money, guys? I don't know. Did they just go bankrupt out of nowhere? Silicon Valley Bank, this thing is crazy. Oh my goodness. All right, so guys, this thing is flashed to the downside. This was, I think Joe H asked me to take a look at this. And I just want to let you know that when things are this drastically impaired, then every bounce that we face is very likely a continuation to the downside. And it's just gaining liquidity every single time. Okay, so another bounce could be that longs that are already long this ticker could be actually finding any type of recovery, meaning that they definitely don't see. Look at the price action. I know it's 86% to the downside, but it's not to the upside. Okay, look at this. 663% to the upside would be the break even for whoever lost 85%. Okay, that's how math works. That's how math works against you when you're trying to play the downside, long the downside. I mean, okay, so whoever is these pumps, you know, every single time it gets a pump to the upside and then it just goes down and it pumps every single time is somebody trying to take whatever they can get based on the loss that they've already faced, because they already know that they're not going to see a 700% push to the upside, guys. This is very sad, and it's actually a very tragic thing for a lot of people, right? So please notice that the 12-hour RSI is still suggesting downside. Of course, it looks like it faced a little bit of strength here, but it's still suggesting the downside. Let's go and reference the immediate short terms just for the crap out of it, right? These bounces, these are the ones that I'm talking about. Look, bounce to the upside, we capitulate, bounce to the upside, capitulate, bounce to the upside, bounce. Every single time we have a bounce, these are people trying to recover whatever they can because they know that this is going to continue to the downside. Okay, you guys, this is very dangerous. Kenny Powers, dude, thank you so much for your dono, my dude. I really appreciate you for that. I love it. And Sebastian, how do we look at this chart? Well, for real, man, you can only lose 100%, but you can win more than 100% on longs. No, you can lose more than 100%. If you're a margin accounts, that is an infinite amount of losses, okay? So yes, you can continue losing even beyond zero. Okay, so 30-minute immediate short term showing a little bit of an upside pump. Notice that the RSI 14-day simple moving average is resistance. Okay, let's move on. By hourly time frame, pivoted straight to the downside. Probably historic lows here in oversold. Yep, absolutely. And I'm sure that there's probably not another iteration to where we've reached the 6th percentile, right? So let's continue on the analysis. Let's see the 6 hour. Man, the 6 hour is on a nosedive, also in historic lows. This is very likely going to continue to the downside. What's up, guys? Let's short. Let's go. Oh my goodness. So go ahead and notice here that yes, even on the 12-hour, we are now at a historic all-time lows of the RSI as well, still suggesting downside. Very interesting. How the hell could they lose all this money with all of this bullish action for years and years? I'm talking about since 2008. Okay, since 2008, they've had an upside and almost, I'm talking about a 95% earnings beat ratio. Okay, so why? It's crooks. I don't know if it's actually crooks. I'm just saying, right, you guys? So, yeah, you guys, this is very, very likely going to continue on to the downside and could be right away again, right? So, I definitely see this thing kind of zeroing out, guys. This is a terrible times. But you know what? I'm not gonna elaborate more on that, guys. Let's just go ahead and finish off this analysis right here, once and for all, right, you guys? So. Yeah, so guys, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at CRTD real quick, right? So we were talking about the last time on CRTD that we would get a type of bounce from the demand zone that we're looking at right in here on this red candle, right? So that demand zone has been met, and I actually did say that it would be ideal that we did go all the way down to the lowest area of the demand zone. Why? Because we can get volatility to start entering the critical volatility zone, and then we could start getting the critical oversold of the stochastic momentum, which looks like it's already in play, right? So this is essentially what I'm saying here is that it could still face a continuation to the downside to about 14 cents, 14.22 being my lowest target. Okay. Of course, this doesn't mean that it's going to stop there. All right. I'm just saying that this is the lowest target that I have personally. Okay, before it starts to slide down to the next demand zone. That next demand zone, you don't even want to talk about that, okay? Because that's actually going to be about 601 to about 448. Okay, but it's not in the talks just yet. Okay, you guys just know that the daily volatility versus momentum still suggesting some downside as well. If we're able to pair this with the RSI, let's just take a look real quick. Okay, so RSI still suggesting that downside as well. We could be at support very soon. Let's see the bi-daily RSI. Bi-daily RSI is still suggesting downside. Man, even into the larger time frames. Let's see consolidation on the 30-minute, consolidation on the bi-hourly, and we still have consolidation. Guys, remember that this is very much in respects to what could be happening with CPI read. We still have okay. So the 12 hours looking like we may find that support soon. Okay, so if that's the case, I don't even think that we can trust it. But still, the support touch that is being suggested is again 1413. Okay, so the setups in the upper term timeframes are very much on hold and waiting for the upper term timeframes. Okay, so for the lower term timeframes. If there's anything that's going to move to the upside here, guys, is going to be the shorter term first, because now notice the 5-day volatility versus momentum starting to get that curvature here. Also starting to enter into critical volatility. What I'm saying is that whenever this thing finishes, whatever it's trying to do, whether it be this zone or this zone down here, the move to the upside is going to be explosive. Okay, so whatever has to happen within CRTD, that's essentially what I'm saying. Okay, this is getting ready for a ridiculous bounce to the upside, and it just has to capitulate first, or it has to do whatever it has to do first. All right, you guys. So that's kind of what I'm saying. I don't know. But yeah, and guys, I do have room for actually one more ticker. Okay, so that's going to be ticker symbol CEOS, and this could be a very nice. I hate to say it like this, but it could be a very nice puts or short play. Okay, I don't think it has puts, right, but or options, right, but this thing could be a very nice short play. And the reason why is because it's still following the suggestions that I talked about the last time. Okay, so we need the downside to succeed here, because we need volatility to essentially reset all the way at critical oversold, and volatility now barely entering the critical volatility zone. Okay, so this is very likely to find a support down to these levels here. Okay, so I'm just going to make a quick adjustment to my bottom side here, and I really do think that we can find a support touch of CEOS at 274. Okay, 0274 could be that area. What's up, Indra? Good to see you here. Okay, so it's very likely, guys. This is my last ticker. Okay, you guys, I don't have And actually, if you are very curious, the technicals are suggesting TRKA a continuation to the downside even still, okay, you guys? So, but what I can say about TRKA is that usually and very oftentimes you tend to get a huge bull run and then it'll just come back down. Okay, and it just plays right now. Okay, so these are just going to be kind of mind games at this point. A lot of people talking about some potentials coming up for TRKA that can eventually resurrect it, but I'm not sure that I can believe anything in fundamentals at this point, you guys. The sentiment is overall negative and still suggesting a potential 4% to 5% loss coming into tomorrow. Okay, you guys, so finishing off CEOS, it's very likely that over the next day to 2 days, we can come back down to about that zone down here, okay? Here's the highlight. All right, you guys, so that is essentially what we're looking at for the markets, okay, you guys? So I would express some concern over trading tomorrow, okay, you guys? I need you to be very careful when trading tomorrow, okay? So if you are looking at a potential short play for CEOS, it's definitely likely for it to happen during, the loading zone could be the areas of about 375 to 407 short position entry, and this thing could essentially go back down to that 2 cent zone, okay? So definitely upside pivot for the early time frames, followed by a continuation to the downside in respects to the higher term time frames starting from the 6 hour, even in the 4 hour, I think, actually. So, oh man, I hate it when that happens. There we go. Yeah, the 4 hour tiny little pivot, of course, the fake out and continuation to the downside, guys. Yeah, but upon that realization of the supports down here, then there could be a pretty explosive move to the upside as everything under the sun. I'm talking about starting from the 4 hour. Go ahead and notice here, we're getting that oval that we always talk about, right? Look at the 6 hour oval, 8 hour, that oval, 12 hour, that oval. You have the bi-daily, and these are the time frames still suggesting that downside, right? So very likely an explosive move can be expected from CEOS, and it would be a macro move as we are in the process of breaking out of this massive descending channel, which is already a bullish signal on it all on its own, right? So this thing has to come back, validate the newly converted resistance into support, and then let's go. Of course, it's not just going to be one line, right, guys? Remember. All right, so just that's what I'm saying, okay, you guys. So I'll go ahead and there's a lot of people asking me for ticker symbol VS, okay, you guys. So I'll go ahead and try to update that in the Discord via images, okay, you guys, because VS it is one of those plays that is actually, I mean, we were talking about this. We were talking about the bear trap down here. I mean, I'm sorry, we were talking about the bear trap here. Of course, this thing came and shook out everybody, which I hate. But this thing is still suggesting a massive upside, okay? So I just want to be as clear as I can be, you guys, that I'm looking out as much as I can. But volatility and momentum are still suggesting a 100% move to the upside. 94% to be exact, okay? So upon the firing of the signal, which could have been right down here, the upside targets could have been modified to a different area, okay, you guys? But this is pretty much where I'm going to leave it, okay? So let me just go ahead and note that the 94% could be right about here at about $1.17, which is still confluent to the targets that I was looking before a little bit, right? It was $1.53 that I was looking at before. But in this case, that would be the resistance touch of this of the broadening ascending wedge, okay? So lots of confluence there. And also if you were to take a fib, very likely you could see one of the 618s there. There you go. All right, one spot 618, 119. All right, you guys. So that's it. That is it for tonight. Okay, you guys. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Right, you guys. I really appreciate everybody for stopping by tonight. I love you all. Thank you so much for all of your support, for everything that you do for the Arca Bulls family and for me and for my personal family as well. I need to express again, guys. Please remember that tomorrow the CPI data release is going to be, I think it was, Mark, was that at 8 a.m. Eastern or was that 11 a.m. Eastern? I forget what time the CPI is. I'm trying to look for it real quick and we'll go ahead and do that. My apologies. Let's just get that final little metric here, as I know my battle is actually asking me. So, yeah, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time is the CPI release, okay, you guys? So please remember to keep a close eye on your longs for that, okay? Because there could be a lot of downside or a lot of upside. Okay, you guys. So thank you so much, Vic Boss. Really appreciate everybody for stopping by. Beso Amy, I'll catch you later. Mark Roach, my moderators, you are so special to me. Thank you so much. Daniel Gonzalez, thank you for visiting. Thank you for stopping by. My Battle, appreciate you, dude. Moderator Hound. I think I saw DJ earlier on too, and Mark Roach, love you, my dude. So please go ahead and send me any DMs if you guys have any questions or concerns, okay, you guys? But with that said, I wish everybody a very good night. Kevin Ma, I'll see you later, man. I wish everybody a very good night and safe trading tomorrow, okay, you guys? And I'll catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.